And welcome everybody to March 3rd.
Why do you make that stupid face?
2021.
Stupidest face.
I like to absorb the theme song. I don't know.
Chester face.
Episode 138. I am your co-host Steve, and joined by
Charles is here.
And of course via satellite BV. How you doing, Bill?
Chilling and shit.
Chilling and shit. Today we got a great taste test for you. What everyone wants to try. Taki Meat Sticks. Are they meat sticks or are they just jerky?
They're meat sticks. They're freeze-dried meat sticks.
Wow, that looks
and they got
terrible.
the whole Taki's
They
branding.
kind of look a little bit like hunter sausages you find in like a cheap party store.
Like,
I do like those. I like those better than beef jerky.
Which you like? Okay, I have a
like if you go to a party store and they got them on the counter and they have like the spicy and regular hunter sausages. Yeah. I would have one of those than a pack of like Jack's beef jerky.
So I like the sticks too, but I have a preference I like the summer sausagey ones that are a little softer and not so dried out. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, these are a little more on the dried out.
Yeah, probably to keep the packaging. They got dry them out. So.
But jerky all day.
That will be later. Then we got some. I got the big console reveal today. That I was not
Someone
expecting.
in the room randomly got one.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all. And of course, we got some PlayStation news, all kinds of news coming up. But first, this past week, since last Tuesday, the big news obviously was, because it was on every goddamn station 24/7, Tiger Woods was in a car accident past week.
I'm sorry to step on you, but I think that people, and me and BV were in the same boat. Like, you raise an eyebrow of, like, what did Tiger do now? You know what I mean? Like,
what bitch was he running from?
Yeah, like, you start going, like, is he on that shit? What's he doing? You know?
A hillbilly heroin.
Yeah.
But apparently, they've already tested his blood. They said there was nothing. It's just bad luck, apparently.
And they're kind of going at it. So he was driving he was in an event, like a Hyundai event.
Yeah, some with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert from the two football players.
Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in an event with.
So he was driving a weird Hyundai Genesis something or other, and they're like, how bad is this for rollovers and stuff like that? That car oddly took some shrapnel because Tiger Woods got in an accident.
Do we have to boycott him now?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
They had to jaws of life him out of there and shit, so he got pretty gnarly.
Probably lucky to be alive. And the best is, so when is he playing again? That motherfucker be lucky to walk again.
Yeah.
That's an Alex Smith situation right there. If he comes back, that's a miracle.
They said that the bone was popping out and everything too, so it got gnarly apparently.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
did you hear any other different news that we got real quick?
I mean, no, just that. I mean, the nature of the injuries though create. You know, he's going with open wounds. There's always a concern about, staph infection, like Steve was saying with Alex Smith, and if they're not able, they have to stabilize that first. Some of the injuries, though, I heard that one was a bone specifically where the foot and I think it's the femur connect. And so he's got a number of challenges as far as just getting full mobility of the leg.
So
back.
6 weeks is what Steve wants to know.
Can you throw dirt out and get back out there?
Never say never, but considering all of his other ailments and the history in his injuries with his back, I would be shocked if he ever returns to, legitimate competitive pro golf again. I mean, maybe senior tour down the line, but he's
the problem is he doesn't.
Dude.
I didn't mean again to step on BV. I guess apparently
stepping on everybody today.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
But he doesn't have the personality, I think, to real. You know how Peyton Manning, like, you could see, you put him up in a booth, like, I'm going to listen to him all day.
Yeah, but golf, all you do is whisper.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Tiger Woods is like wallpaper, though, man. Like, he starts talking.
He's not very charismatic
at all.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm sure someone would love to pay him to do it, though. I would agree with you on that, but I don't know if he's going to be Tony Romo up there,
Yeah. So Tiger Woods in an accident. He's going to be recovering. The other celebrity news I forgot to put on here is Lady Gaga's dogs were kidnapped.
Did you hear that whole story?
Yes, it was a very weird story.
So he walked to a liquor store.
Her dog walker.
Her dog. She pays some dude to come and walk her dogs.
3 French bulldogs. All
which
weird.
Awesome. By the way, they looked awesome.
They have weird names.
Yeah, I don't know, Contrigo and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
And he walks a few blocks to a liquor store, and on the way home from the liquor store, after he bought a bottle of wine, someone either followed him or something, tried to boost the dogs, but they're claiming that like he's a really boisterous guy about, hey, these are Lady Gaga's dogs. They're not sure
so
if he
he's
was
running his mouth.
Yeah, so they're not sure if he was targeted based on it was Lady Gaga's dogs or if it just because they were Frenchies. I don't know. French bulldogs are everywhere right now. I don't know if you guys have seen
they go for a lot, don't they?
Yeah, well, because they can only be born through C-section. Am I right, BV? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they're and English bulldogs are the same way, and they're kind of like the in vogue bulldog right now.
Yeah.
So
the best French bulldog is my boy 2 Chainz. Has his little Frenchie called Trappy. It is the coolest looking little French bulldog. He takes the damn dog everywhere. It's super
Trappy.
cool. I love Trappy.
Well, it ends in a positive story because a lady found the dogs 2 days later.
$500,000.
It gets $500,000.
Jesus.
Really feel like she's in on it, but that's beside the point.
That one eyebrow raised.
She dated one of the kidnappers. And he was like, "Listen, we're going to leave these dogs in this alley." But no, funny side story to that. Danny Trejo, I guess, is a very big fan or friend of Lady Gaga's.
Oh.
And him and some of his so-called friends were going to search for. So, man, I think these guys jacked the dogs thinking they were just French bulldogs. Then they're like, "Man, we got to have Hollywood after us."
Dude, Trejo's taco.
He's going to go machete on them.
Yeah, machetes after us. We can't get rid of these dogs. So everything ends well for him, except for the guy in the hospital with 3 bullet wounds. But he seems to be recovering. So good luck to him. And I'm pretty sure Lady Gaga will take care of him.
We liked her Oreos.
Yes, your Oreos are good. Does that contribute to the $500,000?
A nice thing of Oreos from her. I don't know what's going on.
I might have bought a couple songs on iTunes of hers
okay.
over the years.
Party Monster or whatever that is.
Poker Face. Yeah. All right. Now, on this podcast, we love to talk about certain things called streaming, right? We always talk about it. Any new service that comes out.
Steve needs to be a cord cutter, and I already am.
We always talk about what services you may or may not want to have or want to get, the prices, stuff like that. Well, I know you've probably seen the commercials, especially if you watch CBS football anytime this year. Most of the commercials are random celebrities walking up this mountain. I don't get that, but
it's like Stephen Colbert and Dora.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then Bill Cowher shows up.
Yeah.
He's all animatronic.
How dare you?
He's got strings hanging from him. And Paramount Plus opens, I think it's March 4th.
This Friday. Yes.
Yeah, so there's 2 versions. There's the $5 version with ads and the $10 version without. And apparently we've already got our first subscriber in the room.
Yeah.
Charles.
So, they're getting the full
Bill just shook his head.
First of all,
Bill
BB,
does not approve.
how dare you? Second of all, they're only launching initially with the commercial-free version. You're not even going to be able to get the ad-supported version until later on. So they want to get you in at that higher price point. Mm-hmm. But for me and my household, they're getting the full MTV Viacom suite, which is I can watch all the ridiculousness I want to. Which, again, you could just turn on MTV at any point. But then the biggest thing is they're going to have Real World Season 1. They're bringing back all the people that were on the first season of The Real World, and they're going to shoot a new season of this. I already read an article. Eric Nies refused to stay in the same place as them. He's in his own specific place and is going to meet up with them or do something weird. So.
I got news for you. Real World Season 1 sucked. And so does Real World
You're
Season 1, the
talking-
reboot.
What you got, BV?
That's the OG shit there. There's only 2 or 3 seasons I can get down with, and that's one of
Oh
them.
man, Heather and I are big fans of it. I think it's later '90s for us and stuff like that. You
Never
get Real
liked
World
it.
San Francisco with Pedro Zamora, and I love the Real World, dude. I
Someone
still,
called Puck.
yeah.
Something wrong
So
with you.
we're gonna check it out. I'll at least have a month, but the nice part is for the show, I'll be able to kind of give you guys my experience and kind of the content that I'm seeing on it because they wrapped.
I'll tell you right now, garbage.
Probably the hottest of the garbages. But they wrapped in the CBS All Access stuff into this. And then I think, like I said, the addition of the Viacom stuff's a little different. And there's definitely some more content than the CBS stuff.
Actually, I don't think Yellowstone is on Paramount. I think it's on Peacock. I think we had that wrong. Maybe
Maybe.
it's on
I don't know.
Paramount.
Well,
I'm starting to get confused.
I
It's all going.
Yeah, it's all blended
It's
together.
all blended.
I'll tell you this much. I'll at least be able to give us a heads up because by this Friday, I'm going to pop for a subscription. At least for a month, we're going to kick the tires on it and see what it's all about.
So there you go. Another new streaming brought to you by Fat Guys on a Little Podcast.
tell you
We're
about
going to start
it.
our own streaming channel eventually. It's just
People
going to
need
be
to know
Bill.
this
It's just going
stuff,
to be
man.
Bill sitting there working all day. Stream. This is our reality show. BV just typing on a computer.
BB needs to cut the cord on that DirecTV, too. He knows it.
Yeah, it's getting.
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
I do know it. Yes.
Now we do have a little bit of football news this week, and I know Michelle loves it. But J.J. Watt has found a home for his whopping 4 games a year, and it'll be at the Arizona Cardinals. And he broke the news himself. Pat McAfee covered it. Yeah.
Source me.
Yeah, 2-year deal, $31 million. Let's go with Bill and his thoughts on this.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, they're supposed to be an up-and-coming team. Decent defense. Good money, you can get good weather. I don't know that it really moves the bar a whole lot, though. I mean, it doesn't. That's a pretty stacked conference or division, but so I don't know that it really moves the bar that much for me.
And to the point what BV just said, it's a stacked conference or a division again, but that's an insane price tag for a guy that you can't guarantee the health of. That is insane. The only thing I would say is he'll sell jerseys and he'll put some asses in the seats, and he's definitely a name in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But holy crap, is that a price tag?
And he'll play catch with kids before the game.
I guess, man, that's crazy. You got to play a lot of catch for $31 million.
Well, they already had Chandler Jones in the other defensive end, so it's kind of weird. But then I started thinking about, well, you're only going to have J.J. Watt for 2 or 3 games. So that's an extra 2 or 3 games.
I'm calling you out, J.J. You ain't making the season.
I'm telling you.
Put it out there right now, Steve. What's the over-under on his games he makes next season?
4. It's going to be 4. 4. He's going to make 3, then get hurt the rest of the season, show up at the end. And in those 4 games, he'll make some fantastic tackle. And ooh, JJ. And then he's going to be gone the rest of the season.
His elbow will shatter.
Then he's doing Subway commercials for the rest of the season. Get the fuck out
with or without his brothers.
Huh? Well, his brothers will be playing, so he'll have to do solo Subway commercials during the season. And now a little bit of sad news. Now, Charles and I are big Notre Dame fans. They had a good defensive tackle named Louis Nix III. He was 29 years old.
His name was like Sexual Chocolate or something.
Yeah,
right.
He was a good player. He got drafted by the Giants. I don't know how long he lasted with the Giants, but he was found dead today or yesterday. Yeah, they found his body by the side of a pond. They say his car accident, he drove the car off the side of the road on going too fast or something, and he drowned in the car. And then eventually the tide pulled him out of the car and made him go up onto the shelf. Either way, he passed away. All the details are still a little sketchy on that one. Louis Nix III.
He was part of their first national title run team and all that kind of stuff under Kelly and so. Yeah, a huge name for the university. I knew exactly who he was when I saw the news come across.
29 years old, unfortunately, passed away. Died in an accident. So a little bit of a bummer there. So let's bring it back up. Who watched the Golden Globes?
I didn't, BV.
I didn't know they were on, but wouldn't have watched them anyway.
I didn't know they were on either until I saw the next day some news article. I was like, oh, they were on this thing?
Oh, my God.
I heard it was
Zoom
terrible.
Golden Globes. And then they put first responders in the actual, in the studio thing, but it was like there's no one there, so what's the point of this? It didn't make any sense.
Well, did you sit there and get a free meal?
Yeah, basically. And
did they get the vaccine while they're there?
I don't know.
You're like, you get some roast beef and a vaccine.
Yeah, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted. It was all through Zoom.
They said the ratings were down 50% from the year prior.
I think there's more people in that BV camp are like, oh, was it on?
I didn't know it was on either.
Yeah. So I don't know. You got any interesting winners for you? I saw that The Crown, the show that I've been pimping for a long time that I tell you guys to watch, won a lot of stuff, along with The Queen's Gambit. Also, Netflix really killed them this year. The Judas and the Black Messiah won some stuff. The guy that we really liked, me and you texted each other earlier in the week. The one guy who played the main.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah, Fred Hampton, which, again, I think he was great. I think the movie itself failed him, so, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the highlights they said was Bill Murray in his Hawaiian shirt drinking martinis, I guess. They said
that movie was terrible. That was the Rashida Jones. I talked about
that's what it was?
Yeah, it was Rashida Jones.
Jason Sudeikis, I guess, looked high, and he was wearing like a tie-dye hoodie.
We started watching that Ted Lasso. That's not that funny.
I thought it was okay. I don't know.
It's bar's pretty low.
Yeah, The one surprise I thought, Sacha Baron Cohen's winning a bunch of comedy awards. I didn't think Borat was all that good.
That new one wasn't that hot.
I didn't. But then I started thinking, was there any other comedies this year? Can't really. I mean, wait. I don't. Kind of going blank on that one.
Well, that's why it's a tough year, in generally speaking, about how to do any of these award shows because movie releases are so odd and just the whole industry is just trying to find its way right now. I don't know why you even have this. And people were also calling out the Hollywood Foreign Press for having no people of color on it and everything. There's been a big backlash in that scenario, too. And I don't know, man.
They got called out just like Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, that whole thing. BB's boys going down in New York, dude.
Bill was telling us how much he loves Cuomo, and now that guy's got good.
Dude, you had a Cuomo shirt on the 1 year.
Yeah, you bought his book.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't know he had a book.
Yeah, he wrote.
Didn't know he could write. BB said
he didn't write that shit.
Yeah.
So, Charles, what's happening in Texas besides the freezing? They had a couple.
Yeah, I added that.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
I thought you added
Yeah.
that.
I had to
Sorry.
read the note really quick.
Bill,
I'm like,
what happened in Texas?
Little curveball. So today, and this was actually only about a little over an hour and a half ago, got word that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, this is will be effective on March 10th, so a week from tomorrow. Businesses in Texas will be open at 100% capacity, 0 restrictions, and the mask mandate for entering the businesses in public is 100% lifted. So
Damn, I know where all the Trump fans are going.
100% business
They're
as
already
usual. COVID's over. Texas
we
is
won.
Mission accomplished. Victory's out. So I
Meanwhile,
wanted to
just
get
don't
your
turn the
thoughts.
lights on because they've got no electricity.
Well-
But meanwhile, you don't got to wear a mask. Yeah, crazy. Texas
Yeah,
is
well-
out of their mind.
I know Wings' next vacation spot.
Dude.
Bert.
So is the federal thing still there, BB? So like Joey B came out and put a federal mandate. So any federal buildings, you're still required to wear a mask in. Is that am I to understand
would
that
assume-
correctly?
I would
Yeah.
assume so.
But no one's going to enforce it.
But
in
everything
Texas.
else is jurisdiction of the state, and so yeah, that'll be the only time anyone's wearing masks in Texas. Apparently,
How'd you die doing the river walk in San Antonio?
Dude,
Well, nobody had masks on.
I mean, I told you we had that trip booked to go to Waco and all that. I am not touching Texas. Oh, no,
Why would I
thank
wait
you.
a couple of years on the
No,
Texas trip?
I'm not traveling nowhere.
I get the numbers are down, and I get that the vaccines are kind of slowly flowing in and eminent or whatnot, but.
Did he?
Partic-
I didn't
Oh,
mean.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Did Joey B announce? So another company is not only Johnson & Johnson got provisional approval, but also Merck is supposed to help create and make the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
two companies coming together.
Yeah, that are so. I mean, in theory, Texas is jumping the gun a little bit, but we might be able to get ahead of it here soon in some
Sure.
good news. So anyway, BB, what were you saying?
But but also, and I think this is, I don't know how much this has actually hit the U.S. yet or how much will, but, there is, a significant concern about new strains, particularly South Africa, Brazil, which has already found its way into the U.K.
The California one already existed.
that are more, in some cases, more deadly than the original strain. I mean, they're adjusting, from my understanding, that they're quickly adjusting the vaccines to make sure that they can address these additional strains. But I'm not outraged. I just think that this is sort of the nature, and I think we talked about this when it first started. My concern was the nature of the American people to decide to declare victory way too soon and then bite themselves on the ass doing it. I think there's a risk of that here. Are we going to go? Do I think there's a chance that we're really going to go full blown back into like March of last year? Probably not. But
You'd rather not find out? Is that what you're saying?
exactly. I think this is a little short sighted.
Crazy.
We're Texas. We could do it. Except for snow and ice. That fucks us all
Don't
up.
mess with that.
You can't keep the
Did you
lights
hear
on.
about some of the electric bills they were sending to people?
Yeah, because somehow they have like a very fluctuating based on premium and
like
peak usage or
$9,000
something.
and
Yeah,
$16,000. I mean, go fuck yourself. Come get me. I ain't paying that shit.
crazy. Take that bill, just
These fools should know better than not to get the payment plan.
Yeah. So, all right. So Texas, if you don't want to wear a mask and you're pretty sure COVID's over,
Well,
tell them about the Slayton sister, though.
yeah. So yeah, I'm so shocked to tell you both this. 1,000-pound sisters this past week had some tragic news. Tammy Slatton has tested positive for COVID back in November.
And how much does Tammy weigh?
Tammy's about 640 bills.
Let's be honest. It's 650.
Yeah, so 650 pounds, and She's working. She's a work in progress, and unfortunately, she was stricken with the COVID-19, but she survived it. And I text Steve midweek, and I'm like, I don't want to spread misinformation on our little bullshit show here, but I'm like, if she can survive it, like, what are we doing?
I'm feeling good for the three of us.
Yeah, I mean,
if
I'm
650-pound
just
Tammy
saying,
from
dude.
Kentucky
Yeah.
can live.
You're saying you like your chances?
Yeah, I like my odds.
Dude, that's crazy.
So there you go. The Slatton sisters and their sodies got to live.
Oh, and also congratulations to the others, Amy Slatton or Tammy. I don't know their names. I don't. The other one with the goony eye.
Goony eye.
Yeah.
And the one with the
She
padded
had-
forehead.
She gave birth and all this kind of
The
stuff.
C-section, I heard about that.
So.
All right, in celebration of that, we're going to have some Taki Meat Sticks.
Yeah, so let's go on the main camera here.
So on Facebook, let us know, what do you like the best? Beef jerky, summer sausage, or Taki Meat Sticks?
Yeah, so fully branded Takis made by Cattleman's Cut. I don't know that particular brand. What's that? No, ooh.
That's a weird-ass smell. So we were 0 for 2 last week on our taste test because that shrimp chips were terrible.
First of all, they're
And
not that dry. That's good news.
They look like something Magoo used to have.
Yeah, pepperoni.
Or I was thinking of his penis.
No, okay. They
Why would
do
I
got a
think of
whiff
that?
to it.
You're a
though.
little too well informed on Magoo's penis, but okay.
First of all, they're as greasy as a Slim Jim. I mean, these boys, they don't taste like anything. They taste like a friggin' meat stick.
Maybe that's why they're called meat sticks.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no. I mean, I guess there's a little heat at the end, but this is nothing but a meat stick.
What's the flavor supposed to be?
Chili lime Taki. Yeah, I gotta tell you, BB,
I'd rather have the ones from the party store. The Hunter sausages on the counter.
it's not as dry as I would have assumed it would be, because you know how some of these can get really dry, like the Dearborn brand and stuff like that. I don't hate these, but it's just a meat stick. It's like a spicy meat stick.
I would buy a Slim Jim or a Hunter sausage from the party store before I'd buy one of these.
Yeah, ain't bad. I'm gonna eat me another one.
You need another one?
No, eat me two.
But
Yeah.
you have a weird affinity.
I love hunter sausage and all this kind of
Some
stuff.
with fucking dried out meat, you're just all about it.
I really do. I
If you
love
could
it.
dry out some meat, Charles is like,
Yeah, dude.
I want to eat that.
I'm gonna die of colon cancer.
50 pounds of undigested dried meat
Yeah, I
is in
love
Charles's colon.
Yeah.
All right, so what are you going to rate it?
I mean, out of 10, I'd give it like a 7. It's a basic meat stick, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if you close my eyes, I just be like, it's a spicy meat stick. I don't know.
How much did that bag cost?
Like $7 or $8.
$7 or $8. I would go with a Slim Jim, or I would go with the Hunter sausage on the party store counter. I don't know what brand those are. And then I'd probably go with this. So
I like Old Wisconsin. Those are my favorite type of meat sticks that I buy.
I don't know the brands, but you're pretty good at it. I give it a 6. It was just kind of
Yeah, it's not bad.
The Steve 6 is going to the Taki Meat Stick. Bill, I don't think you missed much.
You missed a basic meat stick, BB.
Yeah, have you ever had a sausage somewhere? That's pretty much it.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Yeah, Bill has a lot of sausage in his mouth.
Wow.
Wow.
He likes sausage. What I gotta tell you?
Wow.
He's a big sausage guy.
I mean, it's pretty good. Wow.
I prefer moister sausage, though.
He doesn't want dry sausage in his mouth.
Yes, I don't enjoy dry sausage.
You like breakfast sausage?
I love breakfast sausage.
What is the preferred, links or patties?
Depends, because I'm gonna die of colon cancer. I'm legit style gonna need some polyp work.
How are you saving the environment when you're eating all these
Dude,
animals?
I love some nitrites.
Abby does not approve.
No,
of
but
it.
I only eat turkey. So I eat Old Wisconsin turkey sticks. I eat turkey breakfast sausage, and I only eat the turkey version of it.
You eat
Not-
the turkey because it's the uglier animal.
No, it's
don't-
number one,
no
it's
one cares
healthier
about
for
ugly.
you, and number two, its environmental impact is a lot less than beef and pork and stuff like that. But to the point, I love me some breakfast sausage. Turkey breakfast sausage is great. Tastes really nice, and I'll get either one. So, like, I use my Stuffler, and I make my waffles with the sausages built into them. I'll use links and stuff like that. So, yeah, I love them.
Bill, do you eat normal sausage unlike this asshole?
I'll eat a combination of both. I mean, not usually at the same time, but if I'm gonna eat sausage, by itself and say not in a sandwich, for example, I prefer links.
Yeah, see, I agree with Bill.
If I'm gonna have a patty, I typically want it to be in a breakfast sandwich
Yeah.
because I don't like the
like
standalone.
A lot of
taste
that plant-based stuff that BV eats is really good when you make it breakfast sausage too. It's really tasty.
And if I have links, I like a little syrup to dip the links in.
I like
The
that, too.
Beyond
All
the
for it.
Beyond sausage, for example, from Dunkin' Donuts is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I
it's
used to
tasty.
hate was when Mom or Dad, when we were kids, would buy the tube of sausage. And, you know, they can't work a knife for some reason, so it was like an inch thick on one side, paper thin on the other.
Dad loved to boom on everything.
Yeah, it's like, can't you just buy
Never
pre-made
pressed out
patties?
anything.
Why don't I get a tube of sausage?
You know, to Charles's point, though, and this is a little bit off topic or kind of going a little bit of a different direction, but the idea of turkey versus beef, I have to say that, like, for example, you know, we make tacos pretty frequently here, probably about twice a week. And
There's a lot of tacos.
well, I
baby.
mean, we do it. You
Respect
know,
the
usually-
taco game, son.
Hey, well, we like tacos.
Bill has
right,
Mexican
and it's
heritage.
quick and
Yeah,
easy,
wow.
and I have found that I actually prefer the ground turkey, for the tacos as opposed to your standard kind of ground beef. And so I find myself more frequently looking for the turkey as opposed to the, which I can't believe. I'm almost feel blasphemous for saying that.
But it tastes
at all,
pretty good.
because-
By the time you season it up and everything like that,
Yeah,
like,
I think turkey mixed into things like chili and spaghetti
all
and
day. Yeah.
But just a turkey burger, you can throw that shit out. That
Oh, I eat
shit's
turkey burgers
If
constantly.
it's
maybe at a
seasoned
fancy
right,
restaurant
it can be
seasoned
very
right.
good.
I've been at home. I was like, oh, I'm eating cardboard right now. This is terrible. I'm
We
not good
don't
at
eat
it. on
red
my own.
meat, man. We just don't do it.
All right, so there you go. Looking at what fat guys eat. Yes, I eat beef. Beef. So review and thoughts about certain movies and shows we got this week. I don't have a lot, but the one I was looking forward to. The first one up is Irresistible. Charles thought this was Invincible on
I had it all
Amazon.
messed up.
Irresistible is Steve Carell. This is a movie by Jon Stewart. He wrote and directed the movie. It's a small comedy. It's not a romantic comedy or anything like that. What it happens is in Wisconsin, there's a small town that's going pretty much bankrupt, and one of their farmers comes down to City Hall that gives this inspirational speech that ends up on YouTube and going viral. Steve Carell, meantime, is like a major player in the Democratic Party where he runs campaigns for like Hillary Clinton and stuff like that. That's his career. And then there's a female that does the Republican version. And I can't think of her name. You've seen her. She's in Neighbors. She plays Seth Rogen's wife in Neighbors. I can't think of her name right now. She's in a ton of stuff. So she's his counterpoint part pretty much. And basically, he catches wind of this guy, and he's very homegrown, and he's ex-military and stuff like that. So he wants to convince this small-town guy to run for mayor of this small town, but be Democrat. Okay. Even though the guy is probably not.
They're worried about the mayor of a small town for the party?
Because it was brought to his attention. Because this takes place.
It would ring out nationally, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and it takes
so
place
virally
in like 2017, right after Hillary lost. So the Democrats are all butthurt still. So and they feel like they're not relating to the people. And with this guy, they feel like he would relate to. But it was more about the mayor of the small town. But they were still putting him out there nationally too, like on CNN,
like
and
a
MSN.
Pete Buttigieg guy.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and it really takes a look at behind the scenes of all these campaigns and the things they do and how they raise money. Like he flies them out to New York on a private jet to raise money for a town it's going bankrupt, but he's got to raise millions in this high, and even the farmer guy's like, this is ridiculous. So it kind of really shows you, peels the curtain back on campaigns. Topher Grace shows up. He's one of the he's a poll guy, like he runs the polls. The girl from Orange is the New Black, there's an American Pie. She runs, she does statistics and stuff. The one funny one she does, she sees a whole branch of houses that are all single women. So she sends stuff about birth control and birth, and it ends up it's all nuns. So they all got pissed at her, cost them a bunch of votes. But it's a really fun look. And there's no, like I said, it's not a romantic comedy. It doesn't end up with Steve Carell loving someone or falling. And it really opens it up. A little far-fetched, obviously. I don't think this small town in Wisconsin would catch the national eye of people. But it was neat, and it was a lot of fun. I give probably a 7. It's worth a watch. Actually, Randy suggested it to me. When Susie said politics and Randy, I was like,
well, because he's in the middle. So that makes sense.
Yeah. But this does kind of rip on both of them, like Democrats and Republicans. And it shows just some of the shady shit and the money they pour into shit that they think may benefit them.
If it rings out nationally.
Yeah. So
You might recall, I saw this when it first came out. We reviewed it and talked about it on the show before.
BB liked it too. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, well, it was.
He went and
well,
saw it at the. Yeah, I want to say he paid for the pay-per-view like at home, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm.
Yeah, it was. I'd give it probably about the same rating. The whole punchline, though, right, is that the entire thing was a swerve by the community that set up the election and set up the YouTube video that went viral to bring attention to earn money for the town, and also to kind of show off the ridiculousness of the entire process. So it's very Jon Stewarty. So
yeah, I apologize for not remembering you reviewing this.
Oh no worries. I just wanted to. I wasn't trying to.
Like I said, I want to say he watched it on demand way back when or something.
Yeah, we watched it the first weekend that it was.
So now it's on streaming for free. That's probably why I see it now, and because they were promoting it all over HBO Max. So it's like, let me.
I was looking for a cartoon, so it's what I remember.
Well, the one funny thing is, what is Steve Carell in his 50s? And the one farmer's daughter, she's like 28, and that's part of the romantic. He looks at her and goes, "I thought we would get together." He's like, "Ooh," she's like, "Ooh, I'm like 28." It kind of ripped out of him. I thought that was pretty funny. So next up, Superman is back on the CW.
Steve's gonna watch this for 6 seasons, bitch about it the entire time,
garbage the entire
and
time.
then wait till the end and go, "I really like it," but I watched it for 7 years.
Yeah, I don't know. So first pilot episode.
What is this, Arrow or whatever that other crap show you watch?
Arrow was good for 3 seasons. Flash was good for 2 seasons, and then that's about it. They put a lot of money in this pilot, so there's no way they're going to keep doing that every episode. It's fucking CW. There's no way, unless the HBO Max is paying for some of this. So this is in the future. He's married to Lois Lane already, and he has 2 teenage sons, twins. One's an emo goth kid. The other kid's a jock. So that's pretty much it. Hour and a half. Out of that hour and a half, they spent a good, hour and 10 minutes dealing with family issues, and one of the boys may or may not have powers, and then there's a villain who kind of looks like Master Chief. I don't know that he just shows up, beats Superman's ass randomly throughout the show, and then they reveal who he is at the end of the episode. Some version of Lex Luthor from another dimension. And but if the show, it's going to be an hour usually. The first episode was pretty decent. Michelle even liked it. We both watched it. It was okay. They're going to move from Metropolis back to Smallville. His mom died of a stroke, so they're going to live there. But there's some shady things going on with the bank. So I think Lois is going to investigate the bank. He's going to deal with his sons because one of them does, by the end of the episode, show some powers where the other one doesn't. So he's going to have to deal with that. I feel like the show's going to be an hour, and 40 minutes of it's going to be family drama, and then you might get 10 minutes of some actual Superman doing Superman things. So I don't know. It's all going to depend on the second episode. Based on the first episode, it wasn't bad. I'd give it probably the usual Steve 6. So I have to watch the second and third episode. If it's just going to be CW family drama, I'm going to be out. I'll tell you that much right now. So we'll see how that goes. But visually, they did a great job. There's a part where he's in a nuclear reactor holding up some ice, trying to cool it down. It looks really good. It's almost movie quality, some of the graphics. But that's only maybe 10 minutes of the show. The rest of it is on Smallville talking to his sons. What do you think? You look like you're glazed over just from that.
It's going to be a train wreck. They're never going to put the budget into it that you need for a Superman show.
Yeah, there's going to be no Brainiac.
You're going to see literally 2 minutes worth of anything. It's going to be a hot mess.
Yeah, it's going to be
But again, you talk all this shit, but you're going to watch it for years. I'm telling you this right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I do love
the
Superman,
visual is going to be the hook that keeps him coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, oh, what happens? I'll get a commercial. I'm like, I gotta watch it. All right, so next up is the one I've been hyped on. And I was hoping to God it was good. And this is a funny story. So it came out Friday. Retromania, I'm talking about. It's the spiritual sequel to WrestleFest from 1991.
That, as BB noted, had no real legit wrestlers.
Yes. But if anyone follows the podcast knows, I goddamn love WrestleFest. It's one of my favorite arcade games of all time. It came out Friday for Steam. It was supposed to come out for the consoles also, but it got delayed. So I got a little nervous. So I downloaded it. It's not a very big download. Yet now the roster is not what it should be. But I understand you can't get.
With
There are
no
some
creator wrestlers and
no. There's about 20 wrestlers, and you'll recognize half. So I know Bill will know Tommy
the average
Dreamer.
person will recognize 5 people.
Bill and I will, but
Yeah.
everybody else won't. But the problem was the game was unbalanced. You go to play, you just get smoked by the computer.
Oh, really?
I'm like, checking, but lost every time I play. I couldn't make it past the first match on the first thing. I'm like,
wow.
I thought it was me. I thought I just sucked. I was like, what?
Oh,
So I went to Twitch, watched a couple guys playing it. They were getting smoked. I'm like, this goddamn game's broke.
Oh, wow.
So, but ironically, last night they released a patch that fixed it.
Balancing it out.
And now I can do moves and stuff like that. I tell you, it's 2D graphics. They did a great job replicating the look of WrestleFest. There's 15 different stages, and they all have, like, in Madden where they just cut and paste the same person in the crowd over and over and over. They took the time and animated all the individual different people.
Yeah,
in
but
the
it's
crowd.
a 2D sprite-based game, Steve.
I know, but it's still pretty good.
You're giving them accolades in 2021 of fleshing out a 2D sprite-based game.
Hey.
With all the horsepower of a modern PC that is pushing, like, Halo Infinite and all these other crazy-looking games. You're like, you know what they did? They really fleshed out a 2D audience. I
They
mean,
did.
you're impressed by that.
I was impressed, but I thought, that takes time to do all that stuff. But it was only $25. They didn't charge me $60.
Oh,
so
okay.
a $25 game.
Yeah, but then they're going to death by 1,000 cut you because all the wrestlers that you might want to get are going to be $5 packs and $10 packs.
That won't be true because they can't afford the wrestlers I want to get.
No,
There's
I'm
going
just
to be no
telling you.
W. I mean, if you want an afternoon of nostalgia with random dudes, I mean, there is a little bit of fun because you don't know the wrestlers, so it's fun learning their moves and what they do.
But why didn't they just go all in? Why have
Because I think it was
anyone-
a small independent company.
But why
trying to make
have
these.
anyone of name? Why not literally just make up a league and
Oh,
do it that
made up
way?
wrestlers?
And then just have a custom where you could have put in all your stuff.
Well, that's what New Japan Pro Wrestling kind of does.
Yeah,
Or Fire
I
Pro
just
Wrestling.
to me, I think that to BV's point last week when he was breaking your balls about it, like to get shitty C and D level pro wrestlers to like flesh out this game, why not just completely wipe it all out? I don't understand that concept. You could have literally like made up like a core thing and even like gave them
probably felt-
backstories and everything else.
They probably felt like to give them credibility, they needed some
No,
wrestlers.
they probably thought like we could give you more bullshit players and like do the Mortal Kombat move and the Street Fighter
I won't be
move of
paying for
charging.
them,
But I
yeah.
guarantee you, there's someone who will, and that's the problem.
So as it is, I give it a 7. I enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you, but it's got 2 modes. It's got a story mode.
How
I-
would
I
you
don't even went
fix
through
it? That would be my next question.
Either do what you did, like you said, just wipe them all out and then have a creative wrestler,
Yeah, completely.
or how would I fix it? I don't know. You'd have to really try to, but maybe
Could you have gotten like the AEW license and
no,
done
because they're working on their own game right now.
Okay.
But you might have been able to get like Ring of Honor, maybe TNA Impact.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of them. But I think it was a very small company. They crowdfunded half the game, and it took them years to make this. I don't think there's going to be a sequel. To be honest with you, this is a one and done most likely. If
If
they
they
could
can make
a
it
sequel, it'd
fun,
be
like
great.
is the gameplay as fun as you remember it?
Now
I
it is.
guess
It
what I'm
wasn't
trying to-
Friday.
Well, yeah, okay, but
Friday it was terrible.
Can,
but
so tomorrow, me and BV show up at your house. Can we pick up them sticks and have a good time with
Yeah,
you
now you
and
can,
stuff
yes.
like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess is.
you're just hitting X, A, or B.
How was the online of it? Did you play it online at all? Is it?
I didn't
does
play-
it
I don't
go
think there is a
online?
plan. No, I don't think there is.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, help me help this game here, Steve. In 2021, I don't understand.
Listen, I wanted a WrestleFest sequel. What you say, Bill?
I call Mikey Whipwreck.
He's not in it.
Couldn't
Hey,
get
he
him.
might be. I don't know. Tommy Dreamer, you'll know.
I'm
Nikita
just saying.
Koloff,
The
the
innovator
Road
of violence.
Warriors.
I got the wrong Koloff.
I think it's I don't know. It was the one with the bald head and the beard, but I think the
Yeah,
bald-
that's Nikita. Well, the beard is Ivan.
maybe it's Ivan Koloff. It was the bigger dude, the one that's.
That's Nikita.
John Morrison's in it, but he's called Johnny Retro.
How
Yeah.
do you give the graphics alone? Like, do you think they nailed the art style?
Yes,
and all
they did a
that
great
kinda
job
stuff?
on that 2D
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
They did a great job on that.
Not just the audience and everything, but like the actual
Yeah.
the characters of them. You recognize it immediately and all
Yeah,
that
you could
kinda
tell
stuff.
Tommy Dreamer who Tommy Dreamer is,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Do they have like cool like
They even got-
modes? Is there like Royal Rumble, Battle Royal?
There's a Royal Rumble. There's of course a versus. There is a 10 pounds of gold where you're going after the championship. And then there's like a little story mode that you get.
And
So-
is the story mode fleshed out, or is
yeah,
it
it gives you
broken?
cutscene, but it's not voiced. None of it's voiced.
Then
It's,
that's fine.
you know, the
Do they
text.
call it Royal Rumble?
Rumble mode or something
Yeah,
like that.
oh,
It's-
okay.
it's not Royal Rumble. Yeah, good point. But it is that. And then there's steel cage matches. There's 8-man tags, 6-man tags. You can do a bunch of variety of different things. Hey, is it the groundbreaking most in-depth game?
I
No.
think it could be better, though, is what
Yeah.
is all I'm trying to say. Is
I think
if
it was a
they-
very small crew that was working on this with not a lot of money. I think if they get a lot of money and can make a sequel, I think probably 2-3 versions down the road, it's going to be a great game to play.
The question is, do you ever get there?
I don't
That's
think
the
it
problem.
will. That's the problem. So there you go. And if they didn't fix it, it was going to get a 2 because I was like, I can't play this game. So I was like, what is the point of this? But I was looking forward to it. I give it a 7. It's a lot better than some of the other things I've seen this week. So Charles, what about Assembly Required?
Yeah, so Assembly Required has Tim Allen and Richard Karn. You guys recognize them from Home Improvement.
Yep.
This is a History Channel competitive reality show where, and Tim Allen's still doing his shtick. We're like, oh, more power and all this kind of stuff. And basically, it's people at home, like you had said when we texted earlier in the week, they modified the format of this show to fit current times. They leave all the contestants in their home shops, and they ship them things, and then they go through, like, it's very similar, like Forged in Fire that way. Like, so
Wow.
they, go ahead.
Why'd they make it a reality show? Couldn't they just made the old Tool Time show? Like to him and Alan Carr just kind of riffing
Richard
on each
Karn,
other,
yeah.
and Richard Carr and just
They're
like-
not building anything.
I know that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they make that? I'd rather see that than another goddamn reality
Well,
show.
here's my problem. Like, okay, so they shipped a bunch of stuff to their house, and then in the first round they give them a bunch of items, and they say, okay, make this out of that group of items. I tend to like to see, and again, maybe it's my mechanical brain. I like to see think of how I would go about maybe doing something or doing, and then see how they did and all that kind of stuff. It's just sometimes Tim Allen trying to home improvement-y kind of just annoys me. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, we're man. It's like, okay, man, like it's 2021. It's not 1992 anymore.
Never does it. But that's what I'd want to see. I would want to see those two in a version of this old house.
But they don't have that ability. So
I know that's why you bring the specialists in to do the stuff. The two morons just stand there.
So
Make cracks.
Yeah, but then what's the point of that? They're
But
just
that's
gonna
what
sit-
Tool Time did back in the day.
I don't know, man. I guess
I just know
I
reality
guess
show.
what I'm saying is I think that I come to it in a different arena. Like, so you would come to it for the Tim Allen, Richard Karn side of it.
Yeah.
I come to it for the mechanical ability and know-how kind of thing, kind of like an Adam Savage thing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Mythbusters for years, as we've discussed on this show multiple times. One of my favorite shows ever. Their ability to, like, use timers and pressure controls and all that, fascinating to me. Whereas you would want them, like, and they're like, oh, we could make a leaf blower that would blow a car off the road. I don't dig it. I don't know how else to describe that. So, like, you get through the first round, they cut someone, and then you kind of keep going, and then at the end, there's two guys. And then they had to make an all-season leaf blower where you could have, so much power that you could melt the snow and also blow your leaves because, we're men. And I'm like, okay, like... And again, Steve's into that shtick. It sounds like a little bit. I'm annoyed with that shtick. I'm just like, okay, what you got, BB?
So it's like Home Improvement meets Mechanical Chopped.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
So it won't satisfy you or me. So,
Yeah, it's-
nobody's gonna like
sounds,
it.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like they probably should do one or the other and not mix both.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think
But-
that's it. You
Yeah,
you went down the middle. So for anyone who would come to it for purely Tim Allen and Richard Karn, there's not enough of them. And for anyone who's like me, like I want to see how you could make a fire extinguisher out of these devices. There's not enough for that. And the whole thing's over Zoom, which is weird. And it's just
I'm out.
this show it's got issues is what it boils down to. And like they COVID adjusted. I think that this would have taken place like in a Forge and Fire like area, but then they figured, well, we could just ship it to their house and go from there. And then like on the finale one, they want you to like test your metal, so they gapped the spark plug wrong on the leaf blower when they sent it to them, and you had to like figure this out by using your mechanical know-how. I don't know. This show's a hearty 3. I don't know how else to describe it. Like Steve said, it services no one. At the end of the day, it doesn't do anything.
Mechanical culinary curveball.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
man.
like, I'd like not over the top shit. Like, I don't need him to make a mega snowblower or whatever. But like, just doing like a sink clog and like Tim Allen get in there and fucking it up, and then having like someone who knows what they're doing come in and show, and then have Tim Allen just like,
yeah. But then
stand
the
there
problem is with that is Tim Allen's ego would tell you that his character is based on his ability to know all.
Yeah, but
this
his character
stuff.
back in the day fucked up all the time.
But that
He
that was part of a
electrocuted himself,
sitcom,
man.
a situation comedy.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Either way, it didn't end up what I wanted. It didn't end up what you wanted.
Yeah,
So,
so
because Tim
Why
Allen
couldn't
can
they
be
have
funny.
just waited?
I agree.
Yeah.
What's that, BV?
It seems to me like the kind of show that, I mean, not the home improvement stuff notwithstanding, they probably should have waited for COVID to pass.
Yeah,
And
So that they
Maybe-
could put it in the right environment to do it.
I don't know. This is clunky. I don't know how else to describe it. Like I said, like it's not good at the end of the day. I mean, we could sit here and pontificate on how to fix this thing a million times. I don't think they're going to do it.
yeah.
But then again, maybe there's more of like the Steves of the world. Maybe there's more people that are
There
coming to
are.
it from a Tim Allen angle. I'm coming to it from like, I want more Mythbusters, and I want them to like shoot a ping pong ball 90 miles an hour. And Steve's like, into that whole like manly hot rod mentality comedy.
You
don't
can
know.
have like a specialist that knows what they're doing.
There's like a
And-
chick in the shop
Yeah,
that they like oddly bring around, and she'll give you like,
and he can make his dumb cracks, and then like Karn can help the guy, the specialist.
That's kind of what they do a little bit, but they do it lightly, I would say. And the other thing that has to be brought up, that as I'm telling you, kind of my review of this show, there's product placement everywhere in this show. They're driving Ram trucks, and the chick pulls up and needs to like use the toolbox on the side of the
Yeah,
Ram
of course
truck.
she does.
It is. They got bills to pay, dude. I'm just like, okay, so.
Well, Tim Allen probably wants a lot. But him alone, probably
I
costs
mean, the reunion of those two guys, you figure, is going to be instant success because of what they had back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who liked Home Improvement, but I think that, to Steve's point, you take Tim Allen and Richard Karn and put them in a situation comedy. That's like, but don't make. I know Tim Allen really can't fix this shit in real life. Is what I'm trying to say. And like when you're bringing him into real life, it's like, you kind of don't know what you're doing, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's what would have been funny. Watch him fuck up and do. I don't know. Maybe we need to. We're like, listen, we got to retool this show. Before you got. All right, so there's that Assembly Choir, a big whopping 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Charles? Belgravia.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep on with my kind of mediocre shows for this week. So
Oh man,
I am a heterosexual male in the year 2021.
are we sure about that?
Allegedly, I have a daughter and
Do
a
you
wife.
identify as that?
I don't know. She's not a beard that I'm aware of, and I think I'm attracted to her. I don't know.
What is your
maybe.
pronoun?
Yeah, ask me in a couple months. But I happen to love Downton Abbey. I think it's one of the best shows that has ever. He just laughs at me.
Bill stops, makes a face.
Yeah, I love.
I don't get it either, Bill.
Dude,
I did not recall that.
I don't get the crown either.
Dude, I love The Crown. I love the intricacies of these households and everything. I think Downton Abbey is a fantastic show. And a gentleman named Julian Fellows wrote that show.
Julian.
And I've consumed the whole of Downton Abbey plus the movie. Can't get enough of it. So then he went on to make this show on the CBC, and I think it's a BBC show as well, called Belgravia. And
What is the CBC?
the CBC is a Canadian broadcasting channel. I was going to talk about
What? Watch a show for the Canadian.
Okay,
broadcast.
so I watched.
And it's not Degrassi.
Okay, so
You
first,
might recall from Hockey Night in Canada,
Oh yeah, I
you
know.
get it
the
here.
real Olympic coverage.
Yeah, but nobody watches actual shows on that station.
Okay, so I was watching the Canadian Bacon Championship. I didn't bring it up to you because I let it go.
Kids in the hall.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall, stuff like that. But I was watching Canadian Baking Show was on that channel because it's back for a new season. I didn't bring it up because you were just going to make fun of it. But the point being, and they had a commercial for this show with Julian Fellows Downton Abbey. I mean, Heather Bolt like, bing, oh, awesome. Let's record this thing. Oh, Steve, This is not Downton Abbey. It's set probably about 100 years before Downton Abbey did. It's more soap opera. So how to explain this? Downton Abbey was good because of the ins and outs of like a royal house in early 1900s England, into World War I and all that kind of stuff. But there was some soap opera ties. Different people were marrying different people. People were dying and all that kind of stuff.
You were watching your stories.
My stories, but they were good stories. This one is just pure soap opera. I don't know, Steve, man. Here's one thing that's weird about it. It's shot it's got to be shot in 4K, like 120 hertz. It looks like a bad telenovela. Like it's got that weird kind of like over processed image, and the whole time it was making me mental watching it. I'm like, what? How is
What
this
is
thing?
the main story? What's the timeline?
It's set in early 1900s.
Again?
No, 1800s. We're 100 years previous to Downton Abbey. I'm
okay.
sorry, I misspoke. I want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
And
Because I'm never going to watch it.
well, okay. Basically, a dude gets a chick pregnant by lying to her and fake marrying her, and then she dies during childbirth, and they hide the kid, and then she goes back. The mother of that, the girl who dies, tells the fancier house, "Hey, look, we had a son," and blah blah blah. It's not good. Is what I'm trying to. The moral of the story: this is going to get a 2 out of 10. All right, wow. I'm going to go less than assembly required. Julian Fellows, 100, home run, 100% on Downton Abbey. Belgravia, avoid people. It is not Downton Abbey at all.
So you watch it on the CBC non-streaming network?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we get CBC over my antenna with the cord cutting we do here and all that kind of stuff, and I got the Canadian Baking Show, which again. British Baking Show.
So the CBC airs hockey, the Canadian Baking Show, and Belgravia. You telling me?
No,
nothing else on that.
No, there's a bunch of other randomness, but I don't know. I caught this, and I'm looking for more of that Crown, Downton Abbey type stuff, and this one isn't it. Is what it boils down to.
All right. So Belgravia, big piling theme. Looks like I had better luck than you did this week.
Yeah, we're going to keep adding to the bad luck here in a second.
And then coming up, Steve's Animation Corner's coming up. And Bill, did you watch Tom and Jerry this week?
I meant to and just didn't get to it.
Congratulations, first of all.
Yeah, lucky you. It's Tom and Jerry on HBO Max. So if we're keeping track, they're 1 for 4 at this point.
What's the one you're giving?
You're
going to give
Judas and the Messiah.
I would be lukewarm on that, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman, garbage. Little Things, garbage. Tom and Jerry, garbage. And now,
you know what this bodes well for? How shitty is your King Kong movie going to be?
How dare you? Shut your mouth.
Wait till you see that hunk of
Do
turd.
not make fun of the mighty Kong. Godzilla. So Tom and Jerry came out.
Is that the next one we get? I don't want to interrupt you, but is that the next HBO movie we get is King Kong?
I believe so, yeah. And then Mortal Kombat after that.
Yes.
If they ruin both of those, we'll be so depressed.
I'm telling you.
Warner Brothers may never go back to the theater because they're making such bad movies.
He called it a bomb.
So they did the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They half live action, half animation.
I think the animation looked really good.
Yeah,
for 2D, and then the interactions in the environment and everything, full-fledged. My issue with this movie is not going to come down to the animation and their ability in 2021 to make a 2D Tom and Jerry.
So there is a little hope for Space Jam this August.
I think so.
Because the animation was very well. And I agree with Charles. Tom looked good. Jerry looked good. The bulldog was funny.
Yeah.
They did some elephants and a tiger. Pretty much every animal in the movie was animated.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
And
even the fish at the fish market were animated, which was funny.
So the problem was, one, the script.
With every other HBO Max movie.
Wow, was the script terrible. Chloe, what was her name?
Mince Grace or something like that.
She's in Zombieland. I do believe she was in the movie Kick-Ass back in the day. She can't do comedy. She's supposed to be like this wheeling, dealing, fast-moving girl that can scam her way.
She's a big city girl who can like work her way through a system.
Yeah.
So like she shows up
Look, he's yawning. He's out.
Dude,
He's
she
done with
gets
Tom
to a
and Jerry.
fancy hotel, and then of course, there's like a British chick applying, and then she talks her out of it because she's wheeling and dealing quick.
And
then she takes the job.
And then Michael Pena's in it, who I like him in almost everything he's in, except for this.
Dude, he is a disaster.
How do you take such a funny actor and make him non-funny
He
in this
also
movie?
is extremely ethnic in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he's putting on extra, Hispanic heritage voice.
He was terrible. All the human actors were just terrible. Even your boy Colin Joseph, we get update.
Yeah.
He was in love with this rich Indian woman, and they were going to have a giant
It was
wedding.
Preeta and something. Preeta and
something.
Ben. Yeah.
So I guess it was kind of a take on a Jonas brother
Yeah,
that
that's what
married
it
the
said,
one.
yeah.
And they were going to have it at this hotel. And of course, the main girl weaseled her way into becoming the event coordinator of this wedding.
Oh.
And then in the meantime, they see Jerry, the little mouse. And you can't have a mouse if you're going to have
And
a big
of course,
high-end
Michael
wedding.
Pena's over the top. Like he's the true event manager. She works underneath him, and he's the evil villain of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Of like way too harsh on her. BV, this is atrocious.
So, and you can guess hilarity ensues. Not really. A lot of animal tornadoes. They really like that one where they're all chasing around each other. I don't know. Maybe Tom and Jerry should be just left in the past. If that's the best script you can come up with for that. And that the girl just couldn't do comedy. She just wasn't like you're in an animation comedy and you aren't funny. And Michael Pena, who is funny, you're making him not be funny. I don't even. Terrible. This is a 3. I give it a 3 just based on the
Steve's
animation.
being generous, dude.
I thought the animation was good. 3, maybe 2. I'll go 3.
It's a 2. Yeah, it's
Charles?
a Belgravia 2. So my average this week's a 2.5 out of 10. I had a long week of info, man. I don't
So
know.
right now, HBO Max movies, the ones we thought were such a great deal, are 1 for 3 at this point.
I tell you this though, the one thing I will say is it's nice to not have to pay extra for any of this stuff. Because imagine, so Dave Havenstein, friend of the show, we're going to talk about finding a PS5. Heather texted him to see if he wanted one. He was in Tom and Jerry's at a movie theater.
Ooh.
So he paid money to
Now,
see
did
this
his
hunk of
kids
turd.
like it? Did he mention it?
I didn't ask. I hadn't seen it at that point. I didn't know to ask. And now that I know, the next time I see him, like, dude, what did you think of Tom and Jerry? Oof.
So there we go. There's our reviews. That was my stinker for the week. Charles got 3 stinkers. I only got I got 3 okays and 1 really bad time. Michelle agrees with us. She was like, "Oh my god, this is terrible," because we purposely set like a Saturday away. We're like, all right, it's an hour and
What's that
40
Tom
minutes.
and
We're
Jerry?
gonna watch that Tom and Jerry we grew up on. So bad.
It had none of that, like, and like Steve's touching on, like the adult humor that you can typically like find good jokes of as an adult,
Yeah.
like in a car. It had none of that. It was just so flat. Dude, God, it was bad.
So, all right, Bill, let me get your opinion. This week, the big show to watch, the movie, Coming to America 2. Eddie Murphy sold this movie and the studio to Amazon Prime for about $200 million, I believe. Oof. Bill, are you going to watch it this Friday, and do you feel it's going to be any good?
I will watch it this upcoming weekend. I don't know if it's going to be Friday, but I'm still. I really hope it's good, but I'm still skeptical.
So give it a 1. Give it a BV prediction 1 out of 10. What do you got right now? What do you think you're going to hit? And I'm just curious.
There was enough interesting in the previews that I think that even if the rest of it sucks, they might be able to eke out a 4 or 5.
So you think it's going to be middle of the road?
I think it's going to be like somewhere between 4 and 6.
4 and 6. So we're going to call BV 5.
Now, how
Steve,
big of a fan were you of the original before we move on?
me and BV love those.
Yeah, that is easily one of my 5 favorite movies ever.
So good. The first Coming to America is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it does not get better than that.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
You don't love the first Coming to America?
There's 2 movies in my life that I like now, but when I saw them before you and Bill, and I thought, one of them is Coming to America. I thought it was okay. But, and then the other one's The Big Lebowski. both movies I was kind of lukewarm on, but then your ass hyped them so much. I'm like, I feel like I missed something. I can go back and watch. And I've appreciated them more over the years, but I'm not nearly as high on them as you two.
Oh my God!
Well, Bill's not big on the Big Lebowski, but he's big on Coming to America.
I like the Big Lebowski. I wouldn't.
Oh my God, Charles made it a cult classic.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it near the top of my list or whatever.
Walter Subject's one of the best characters.
There are a few movies, particularly a couple particular in Eddie Murphy's early catalog, that if you don't think those are funny, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is one of them. I put Trading Places pretty close to that as well.
See, I'm different than BV.
I like Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop's fantastic.
That's also
stuff. But Coming to America is like BV said. It's in like one of my top 10. I love that fucking. I got a copy of it on Blu-ray still. I love that goddamn movie, man.
I mean, I like it. I'm just not as much as you guys.
And anytime I see it on TV, and if I'm just flipping channels, I will stop and watch it.
Yeah. I'm expecting a full Steve Six coming through this.
Yeah, you think so?
But I will say, I think that barber scene is going to be pretty funny. When he's calling him Kunta Kinte and all that stuff. That looks pretty funny.
I just hope it's not the same story beats. I hope you guys come in here and say, it gives enough of a nod to the original, but it had a thought and a I hope that is the case. I'm not going to see it because I don't have Amazon Prime, but
You're not going to see it?
No. I hope that you guys are both very hyped on it.
I will say I am feeling good just because of that Dolomite movie that came out a year or two ago. That was pretty damn good.
Me and you both were really.
So if he captures that Dolomite love there and brings it into this,
he was really smart in that movie about his ability to kind of understand. He's kind of like Sylvester Stallone that way. Like they're both kind of understanding their world right now, and kind of
Dolomite was fantastic.
Dolomite is great.
So
Steve is right.
I'm hoping Coming Through America 2 brings in some of that momentum.
But I hope it's just not the same beats, you know? I hope it's got something new. What do you got, BB?
Well, I wonder if I'm going to be interested to see how our opinions on this differ, because I wonder if you might end up liking it more because you don't hold it to the standard of the first movie the way I will.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's going to be very tough for me to watch this without constantly putting it next to the original.
Is Eric LaSalle and stuff in it? And is Patrice going to be in it, dude? Unless you giving him a little bootay. Come on, man.
I can't believe you're not going to watch it.
Dude, a part of me is afraid. I swear to you, part of me is like, this is going to be a turd sandwich, and I don't want it to be a turd sandwich.
If I never see it, it never happened.
Like, it oddly will bring down the original to me. I'm like, God.
Well, I was trying to check real quick to see the cast. One of the things that concerns me is there's like the villain, I guess, of the movie is Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, he's like a tribal leader from across Africa.
Trying to set up some kind of coup against Zamunda or take over Zamunda.
Yeah.
Is it all take place in? No, it's got to come back. It's got to. Right?
The storyline is Eddie Murphy somehow had an illegitimate kid in America while he was here.
Yeah. And
I think James Earl Jones is dying. Wesley Snipes trying to move in on Zamunda. So and Eddie Murphy wants a male heir to the throne. So he goes back to America with Arsenio Hall to find this son he thinks he has. And then he's going to bring him back to Zamunda. That seems to be the story.
I see no. I'm not seeing any Eric LaSalle. I'm not seeing a character for Patrice. Louis Anderson is in it though.
Yeah, he makes his role come back. That's what that.
Is he still watching? That'd be hilarious. 30 years later, he's like still watching.
What if he's like a shift manager at McDonald's? Come on, man!
I told you that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm
talking. It'd be better if he never moved up, but he's still just doing.
You could do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I can see some funny shit. I'm nervous. Admittedly, I am nervous. Yeah. I hope that you both come back and like, it is so funny. If it's a home run, I would be elated if it were a home run.
If we came back and say it is, you go get Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I would. The next day, I would. I'd give you $13 if you're both like, dude, it's really good. I'll plunk that down that night and watch it. I'm that into that original.
Wow. So there we go. The big one this week. If anyone gets a chance, you got Amazon Prime. Coming to America 2 on Amazon Prime this Friday. It snuck up on me because it felt like it was months away. And then I was like, oh, man, that's this week. All right, we got a couple reviews. One was a surprise review because we didn't see it coming. But first up, my daughter has a varsity coat. We had varsity coats back in the day.
No, I didn't. Never got one.
You never got a varsity
Nope.
coat? Bill, did you rock a varsity coat?
Yes.
Yeah, so Bill did, I did, but Charles no. I'm shocked.
They were expensive.
Well, Dad gave me that choice, like one of my birthdays. It was either I could get a class ring, a varsity coat, or something else, and I went with the varsity coat.
I'm not anti-varsity coats. It's just one of those things I never got. I don't know.
So my daughter's is getting these what you call pills, like big chunks of lint on them, and we put a lint roller over it, and it just didn't work. They're not coming off. So what we invested in, and this is a Gleeners pill
ultimate
remover.
fuzz remover.
Yeah, ultimate fuzz remover. As you can see, you press the button, the little blades come off. It comes with like 3 separate blades, depending on your material.
It's kind of not a blade, it's almost like a pumice stone. Is what I was telling
it's really kind of
Steve.
unique. It's like really rough sandpaper on it almost, and did 3 different grades. One's for silk. One's for like a thick wool, and this one's for like varsity coat material, whatever you want to call that. Cotton, like a thick cotton.
Think about like a sweatshirt you'd have, and you'd get those weird little bumps,
like in the
of
armpits,
whatever.
or maybe a pillow gets those little things. Basically, they're getting furniture skin tags. You know? And so what you do is just take it, and you obviously just go over the material, and it comes off. And
is it hard? Does it get stuck on the stone?
Yeah, after a while, it starts. You'll see you'll have to clean it off.
The other
you
way.
take like a tissue, wipe it off, and then just keep going. It's gonna be a little work to do a whole coat. That's probably why Holly's been avoiding it, but it does work. So we've tried it. It's about $18 on Amazon. Of course,
What were the reviews on Amazon? Curiously,
they were like 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not. They have mechanical ones, right? And I told you Michelle bought one of those. That didn't work for shit. I don't know what the hell. They have those on Amazon as well. But I mean, you're looking at $50 for one of those. This is $18. A little manual labor. Your coat will look fine. She wants to get most of the big chunks off. It's not quick, obviously. It's almost like brushing a dog. You're going to be there a while. You're going to brush, take the hair out, So,
I wonder if there's like a weird... How did she get those, I wonder?
I don't know. 'Cause I don't remember getting those on mine.
I'm like,
Bill, did you get a lot of pills or built-up lint on your varsity jacket back in the day, if you remember? I didn't.
Not really.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Did she put it somewhere weird or something? Or does she
Hangs
always
on
put
the back of the chair a lot?
She wears a lot of hoodies, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, she does wear a lot of hoodies
Yeah,
and
I
thick
don't
clothes, so I don't know.
Weird.
But she did get it all over her varsity jacket, so there you go. The Gleeners Ultimate Fuzz Remover, I give it, an 8 out of 10.
So it does what you need it to do, but you got to put some elbow grease.
Yeah, you got to put elbow grease in. It's almost like if you had a golden retriever and you had to brush it every night. So you know you're going to put some work in. So, all right, now this weekend was a weird one. Charles calls me on, what was that, Saturday or Friday?
I don't know what day
Friday.
that was.
I think it's Friday because Saturday I picked it
yeah.
up. Friday, Charles is randomly at Meyer on the Hill.
Yeah.
And you walked by. You were looking for a Nintendo Switch case.
Yeah, I was just randomly. My daughter wanted the ability to take her Switch, her Nintendo Switch, with her to her friend's house, and so we were going to get her like a hard case. It was part of her allowance had built up during the minimalist month, and she was going to spend. That worked out great, by the way. And she was going to spend it on a case for her Switch. So we went. And before, she'd found one on Amazon, but sometimes, as a little kid, you don't want to wait till it gets shipped. So I was like, well, we'll wander by and see if they got cases at Meijer and stuff. I'm like, let's go see if they got a case. And I happened to it was probably like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on a Friday, randomly. We went there. And I happened to look in like the weird glass case there. And there's like 2, what I'm like, it took you a second, like, I'm like, are those PS5s like just in the case, like right there? I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm thinking they're like PSVR, so I had to like really like, oh shit, those are actually like PS5s. I immediately text you, and I tell Heather, I go get in line and tell this guy I need one of these, because I don't know what the guy in front of her is trying to buy. I'm like, this. So Steve texts back, he's like, yeah, pick that shit up. I'm like, all right, cool. So
I was gonna wait till summer, but if it's there,
it's rare, right?
Yeah.
It was really a
I
random
could have flipped
thing.
it if I wanted to, but
Yeah.
I actually kind of wanted it.
So we picked it up. The guy actually so I said, I go, can we get one out of the case? He had more of them in a case behind the counter.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up picking it up, and I brought it home for Steve so he could get it.
What?
You couldn't hook a brother up? I mean...
Oh, we didn't know you wanted one.
Yeah, that was...
Well, shit, I would have put that bitch on eBay.
I didn't even buy one for myself, though, BB.
Bill's like, I need to make more money for Bitcoin.
I would have Venmo'd you on the spot.
No, We were in the middle of the minimalist challenge as we just discussed and all this whole thing. Steve hit me up because you didn't buy one. I'm like, no, and Steve is going to prove my point here momentarily as to why I don't think you need to buy one right now. It's one thing if you're doing it as an investment, as BV's discussing, but anyway, so we picked it up for Steve.
So of course I come over to Charles' house, pick it up, and hook it up over the weekend. Just like any modern system or computer these days, it takes like 8 hours to set this fucker up. You set it up, you leave it load, and
First
load
of all,
down
Dave,
software.
you're missing the
else.
one point. You sent me a picture of the gargantuanness
This
that is
thing-
this goddamn
I
system.
didn't bring it with me because it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably this tall and probably about that wide. It's the biggest console I've ever owned.
Yeah.
It puts that PS3, the George Foreman PS3 to shame. That's how big this thing is. It's very weird. Like nothing's. It's like
no straight
wide.
lines
Yeah,
on
and
it.
it's so weird how it's set up. I have it on its side right now, but I think I'm gonna probably sell my PS4 and then put it.
Well, the other
upright.
thing of note, too, let me derail you for a second. They didn't have the digital editions. They only had at Meyer the disc-based ones.
Oh,
so
okay.
they probably, and it makes sense if I'm a retailer, I'm not going to stock a digital edition because I want to sell PS5 games.
Well, I'm shocked they shocked any because all Sony kept saying is you can only get it online. That's why when you saw it sitting in a store, I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
'Cause
And Walmart, when we went there the other night, I had to pick up an air filter for the Bolt. Walmart had a sign on the door that said you can only get it online.
Yeah,
Which, again,
so-
it's just weird. I don't know.
It's weird that Myers had it. Maybe it's a screw up. Oh well, we benefited from it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kept mine. Didn't want to. I actually do want to own the damn thing, so yeah, I kept it. And let's go over it. All right. For first off, it's a monster, like we've already covered. There are some pros and there are some cons. And at the end, I'll tell you what type of gamer probably should buy it, what type of gamer should wait, or not buy it at all. Let's go with that. First, the pros. This thing fucking loads fast. So I put Street Fighter V on there that I also had on my PS.
You got to explain. Is that okay? Now let me pause you for a second. Is that a native PS5 game?
No.
Was that a game you upgraded to a PS5 version?
Nope.
This is a PS5 version of Street Fighter V.
No, it's a PS4 version of Street Fighter V playing on a PS5.
Okay, that's what I'm trying. But I want to make sure that we understand correctly.
Okay, so I moved over. The first games was Madden, Mortal Kombat 11, and Street Fighter V. Madden and Mortal Kombat 11 let me upgrade to the PS5 versions for free.
Okay.
So, and of course, that's another download. It's another hour. Go take a nap. So I didn't. I'm telling you, Saturday I didn't play anything. You're like telling me how's the new system? I go, I haven't done anything. It's just sitting there. So, and then the Street Fighter V was just brought over. Now, Street Fighter V on a PlayStation Pro.
What drive do you put the Street Fighter V
Right
on?
now, those three are on the internal drive that's on the PS5.
Okay.
I didn't have an external drive yet. The PS5, the Street Fighter V version on the PS5. The one thing Street Fighter V is it loads. There's a lot of loading.
pokey.
It reduced all that loading. All that. There's still a load in the beginning because Street Fighter V likes to reach the servers.
So that could be a
and
cloud
come back.
reach.
There's nothing you can do about that one. But as far as like when you pick your fighter and go to the loading screen, it's 10 seconds tops before it loads. Surprise. No real graphic.
But nonetheless, the loading bump.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be 60 frames per second, but I don't know how to check that. I was like, okay, I'm not that technical, but to be honest. Now, as far as Madden goes, again, loading's faster. There are some new features on the PS5 version that aren't on the PS4 version. First up, there's next-gen stats. So say you hit a receiver down the sideline for a 40-yard gain.
Is it brought to you by Amazon?
No, it's not brought to you by Amazon.
Does Christian McCaffrey tell you he can work with that?
No, he doesn't either.
Okay.
And neither does Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
It basically cuts to a cutscene and puts like a green circle around your receiver, and it tells you how fast he's running, how many yards after the catch he got on that play.
It is kind of like those Amazon commercials.
It is.
though.
It really
Yeah,
is.
wow.
So they put that in the PS5 version. Also on the sidelines, the PS4 version of the sidelines were like these generic guys with no names. They just kind of they actually have real players on the sideline. Like when you get tackled out of bounds, now the players move out of your way.
Okay.
So,
Fleshing out a little
but
bit.
they don't react precisely because you hit a big touchdown, your guys on the sideline just like. And you think they'd be reacting a little bit, so they still got some work to do there. So there are some new things, and plus the play selection screen moved to the bottom now. So Madden on PS5 has, and again, PS4 is probably an 8 in graphics. PS5 is probably a 9. So it's not. It looks better, but not a ton better, if that makes any sense. and things feel brighter for some reason on the PS5. The feel like we played a game in Green Bay. The grass was greener, everything was brighter. Even though Green Bay, I don't think it's brighter, but whatever. So it looks crisp, runs crisp, feels crisp. Okay, and then the same thing with Mortal Kombat 11. Didn't look all that different, but almost all the load times are gone. There's still initial load of like 10, 15 seconds when you start the game.
That could be a cloud reach
But,
again.
yeah, and again, when you pick the fighters, there was a 30, 40-second load time on the PS4. That's like a 10-second load time now. So if there's anything this generation can tell you is we load fast.
Well, I guess that's kind of nice if you think about just saving a little bit of life. Because we grew up in the '80s where carts would load right away and all this kind of stuff, and we got a little spoiled during those times. And then when disc-based games came along and that loading sequence, and then as these games got bigger and bigger and bigger, man, some of those load times are rough. And then they would also try to hide them in certain scenarios and stuff.
Like going in an elevator in Mass Effect was always a load time. So now, one of the biggest things they worked on for this generation that's a little different than is the controller. If you feel it, it's bigger than a regular PS4 controller. A little more
very textured, number one.
And a guy with big meaty paws, I like that one better than the PS4 controller. Now, it does a lot of unique things. So there's a game called Astro's Playhouse that you get built in with the PS5.
3D vision.
And I think you're familiar with the Astro guy. It's the same guy from the VR. Mm-hmm. And what it does is pretty much the game walks you through all the features. This is still touch, so like the parts of the game where you can zip up the zippers and stuff like that.
I noticed it's USB-C on the
charger. It charges super quick. You got to 100% in like less than 15 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's really good. That also, right here, this little dot, if you can see
the microphone?
Yeah, there's parts of the Astros game, so there's like a pinwheel. You blow in it, and then it spins.
It's probably just a microphone, though, right?
Yeah, probably, most likely. So that's kind of neat. A lot of feedback. So, like, this is the only thing I'm not a big fan of. They went crazy with the rumble. There's rumble everywhere and feedback in this control twice as much as any other controller ever used. So these, depending on the game, stiffen up.
Yeah, a little tension kind of thing.
Yeah, so like in Madden, for a speed burst is R2. So now it's like you press, and then you press again to get that.
Work them fingers out, Tubby. What are you doing?
That's annoying. It's like, can I just press this? Why do I gotta fight it? So there's like resistance. Same thing. They also said like if you're pulling a bow and arrow, it'd be a little harder to press this. So that in that Playroom game highlights all the stuff on that controller.
It was built from the ground up for that particular controller configuration.
Motion sensor too. You do this on the.
That gyro kind of thing.
So here's the funny thing. They always put all these funny features in these controllers, and no game uses it besides the one game they built on PS5.
And then like the first random, like a Ratchet and Clank game from Sony
you might have to turn
Interactive.
something and be like this. Yeah, so
it's always like a cool proof of concept, but it never gets widely adopted.
Never does. So that's the controller. That's probably the most drastic. And the cool thing about Madden, they moved the quarterback noises to the controller. So when he's calling audibles, you hear it in the controller.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat. I thought that was neat. And then, like I said, the graphics are about a step up. Now, there are some cons. Here's the cons. I was telling you, PS4, you hold the PlayStation button on the controller.
That's how you bring up the quick
power
menu.
thing comes up, you turn it right off. This, you got to tap it, don't hold it, and then a whole thing across the bottom
like
comes up.
a quick bar comes up?
Yeah, on the bottom, and then you go to the far right, hit
you
the
had
power
to look this
option.
up, didn't you?
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, how do I turn this goddamn thing off? So and then the power options come up, then you can turn it off. That's annoying. Now, also on the PS4, your friends list is right there when you launch the game. It's at the top. Same thing. They hid the friends list in that little pop-up bottom.
So that's probably just a design choice.
I'm not sure why they did that. Also,
but again, something that you could argue they could implement and change later with quite easily. That's a system update. If enough pushback comes, like this is bullshit, they can just swap that out.
But it feels like change for the sake of change. It's like it was good on PS4. You didn't have to mess it up because it was the same way on PS3 also. So it's like, why? And then of course, the storage. I only put like 4 games on this thing. I only got like 100 gigs left. I did put Call of Duty on there, so now I got like 100 gigs left. So 4 games, 100 gigs left on my storage already. So I had to buy.
And it comes with what size SSD in it? 500 gig?
No, it's a terabyte.
It's a terabyte?
Yeah. So and games are like 100 to 200 gigs.
Admittedly, yeah, they're big.
So it's gonna eat it up quick. So it's like, God damn it. So you might have to get external storage. And on the external storage right now, you can only put the PS4 games on it. So eventually they'll have storage that'll work with the PS5 games, which that goes to the next con.
Well,
there are no really PS5 games
but
right
I was
now.
going to say, couldn't the nice part be, imagine you had an external storage and you moved Call of Duty over to your external because you're kind of not playing it right now. And then if you wanted to play it, you could bring it over to the SSD and transfer that over because that would still move faster than having to reinstall drive to drive.
Yeah, but it still takes a while to move them back and forth.
But still, I mean, it's not a terrible solution. I'm not
it's
here to
almost
say
like
that
it's in a box, pull it out, put it on here.
kinda,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, so that's not bad.
Here's the biggest problem of all. Go ahead. Yeah.
The games?
Yeah, there's nothing to play.
There's no true PS5. The only two that truly were built for PS5 is Dark Souls, which is a remake from a PS3 game from 6 years to 7 years ago.
Great.
And the other one is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. You can get the true
Has a true native PS5.
Yeah. And that's supposed to look beautiful. I have that game, so I can upgrade for free. I haven't, but I've already beat the game, so it's like
You're just gonna check it out or something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I guess God of War looks a lot better too if you install that. But I already played through that one too. So and then looking at the game releases, with the exception of BV's MLB The Show, there's really nothing until June. So it's not.
That's kind of my whole thing. I don't know why anyone's clamoring for this system right now. So like.
Yeah.
From what Steve just described, so BV, like say for example, BV, like you would pick this console up, you'd almost just sell it on because there's really nothing for him to play.
Right. I mean, you can play Madden, I guess, or whatever random PS4 game you can find. Bill Stone's off. He's falling asleep.
Not so fast.
We bored the shit out of him with PS5.
BV.
And the other thing, I don't think someone like Bill, like a casual player, the cost tells me he shouldn't do it. Like, if he wasn't going to sell it on eBay and he wants to buy it just to play his Madden on or whatever, so he's going to play Madden, golf, and maybe a baseball game. Is it worth $500 and $70 for a controller, $70 a game? They're starting to get to the point where just like the hardcore guys like me, my loser ass.
Yeah.
And if I tell you what, if PS4 games came out on PC, I wouldn't even need this PS5. But they don't. So even though they're starting slowly to release more and more on PC, I don't know if you noticed that. What is the Days Gone or something like that came out? Yeah. So they're slowly getting there. And if that ever happens, then I don't see a need for new consoles. Really, you just buy a PC gaming. So for a casual guy right now, I'd say no. Even for the hardcore guys, there's not really anything to play on this thing. But it does enhance your current game. So if you want prettier games, the ones you're already playing.
It's a steep price of entry, and then the rarity of the console. Like I was talking to people at work who happen to games that they're like, "You found a unicorn," because like everyone's like, "You like I didn't even think you can get that right."
Yeah, I didn't.
So,
I wasn't even gonna start looking till after my birthday, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, I might have Hitman 3 coming. I got it on sale just to see. I'm not a huge Hitman fan, but let's see how it
Party
looks.
just wants to check it out.
Yeah, so I'll check that out and tell you next week. But as of now, I mean, it's a good system. Don't get me wrong. And if you have nothing else, then that's great. But man, it's the price. I mean, $500, and then you're paying $70 for a controller, $70 for a game.
And then, so you're going to talk about the State of Play that just came out. Everything that's on this list is available for PS4 and 5.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about?
Yeah, Bill could literally get almost everything on this list with his PS4. So it's like, okay. So that's the PS5. Right now, it's probably a set. See, in the future, though, there's going to be that new God of War coming out.
Sure.
There's going to be another Call of Duty.
But you're not going to
out.
see that for another 12, 15 months.
I was going to say years.
Yeah.
It's 12, 15 years.
Well, I'm
damn.
thinking spring of 2022 or whatever it is.
So I mean, but you're gonna get your annual sports games. You're gonna get your Call of Duties. You're gonna
get those available for PS4.
But they're gonna look better and load faster on PS5.
At $500? I mean, I don't know, Steve.
Well, I already have it now, so I'm
I know, but I'm
saying
saying like it's hard. You're hard pressed to tell someone, hey, you need to go out and pick that up.
The system as a whole, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not a leap forward like PS2 was over PS1. You know what I'm saying? I feel like PS3, PS4, and PS5 are just incremental on each one.
You're going to get to that point where it's just never going to be the case. They can't do it. Yeah. I don't know what's going to. You're not. So the big push right now in PC gaming is ray tracing, which is that ability to like have light shine through sources and all that kind of stuff. But like, okay, Like, I mean, at this point, we're like iterating on Madden with the weird, like every year there's an upgrade.
Yeah. So there you go, 7 out of 10 right now. It'll probably go up as games come out and more. There is one neat feature I haven't tried yet. Like if you're playing on PS4 or PS5, I can split screen what you're playing and what I'm playing on the PS5. So I have main screen's me, and the bottom screen I can see what you like. If you're playing God of War, I can see where you're at on God of War. Like, I haven't tried it. I know it's a feature. I don't know what that does or why you want to do it, but there is that. So, all right. Now, because of COVID and all that other stuff, there's really been no video game conferences, video game anything.
But I think that they were going to get away from E3 and all that kind of stuff, before COVID even hit. I think that the industry is just using COVID as a reason to finally just say we're done with that, because you get the Nintendo Directs. And you get a State of Plays, which is the PlayStation.
And Xbox has one too, but I don't know what they call it. So the PlayStation State of Play came out this past week. Basically, it's a little press conference showing you what maybe or may not come to PlayStation's brand this year. And first, I went through, found some highlights, even though these highlights aren't that great, I'll be honest with you. First one, they're really promoting this. This is coming out on Switch. It's coming out everywhere. Knockout City, I told Charles before, it's like a dodgeball game, but it's a big city. I didn't realize this, and it's multiplayer. So you just run up to a certain area, and you're going to have a dodgeball fight right there in the area. So essentially, instead of using guns, you're using dodgeballs. So it looks neat. I don't know. Whatever. I think I'd rather have a remake of the old NES game, to be honest with you. Deathloop. This is a big one that they're promoting. It's a first-person shooter with a lot of stealth in it. It looks like generic first-person shooter 101, but you got to do a lot of stealth sections, so I don't even want to play the game. Final Fantasy VII. Remember that name, because they are redoing this game 1,000 times.
Sony's thing is to like redo. I mean, if everyone gets on Nintendo for their ability to like kind of cheese remakes and reboots and rebundles, PlayStation does the same shit. Yep. I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
and this is free on PlayStation Plus. So the Final Fantasy VII remake that came out last year, if you have PlayStation Plus, you can get it for free. Crash Bandicoot 4, that's coming. That's probably the biggest game on here, to be honest with you. And that's coming for both PS4 and PS5.
Get your mediocre platformer today.
I never liked Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, shitty platformer.
This is Returnal. This is a third-person exploring adventure game on an alien planet. By the numbers, you look like an astronaut. You got a gun. You got to explore things. This, I think, was just PS5. This one looked bad. This is Sifu. It's a Japanese brawler, like an old school brawler where you walk. It just the animation.
It's like Double Dragon.
Yeah, but it looked like crap. I don't know. And then, I think they went with a stylized like animation look. It was terrible. Oddworld's been kind of a favorite of a lot of people. I've never really played one.
I thought that was like a big Microsoft thing, like Stranger's Wrath and all that kind of stuff.
Well, apparently they jumped shipped.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were. Yeah,
and this is going to be free on the PlayStation Plus eventually. Now, this is, I thought, the highlight of the show. Kenya, Bridge of Spirits. Did you see the trailer for it?
No, I didn't see that.
It looks like a Pixar movie.
Oh, okay.
You're like a little girl, and you're I don't know what you're doing. You're
They're pimping everywhere. As I went to Walmart the other day, like I told you, they're pimping that Raya movie everywhere. They got a whole full toy line and everything out for it.
This looks like almost it could be an extension of that movie.
Okay.
So that one I'm looking forward to. That's in, I think, August. And again, another Final Fantasy VII remake. So I guess when they remade Final Fantasy VII last year, they only did half the game. Because the game was like 4 discs on the original PlayStation. So they did 2 discs. And this part is the other 2 discs, I guess.
Who gives a shit?
I'm not playing it. So that's a look at what's new for PlayStation.
You play the more Final Fantasy games. You play Kingdom Hearts, really. You don't even necessarily play like the true Final Fantasies, really.
Yeah, and even the last Kingdom Hearts, I was like, why am I playing this?
Yeah.
So, the only one I would like to play is Kenya. The rest of them are like, yeah.
Is it Kenya or is it Kina? What is it?
Oh, it's probably Kina. I don't know what it is. So I'll have to look it up. But we'll look at the trailer after the podcast.
Again, comes with PS5 and 4, so...
All right, Bill, we're going to get to the news and wake you up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm with you.
So, Bill, every time I came down there, and I think I forgot the E after fries, but one of the staples with Bill and going down to see Bill in Chicago is I always made him take us to Fry's. I liked the place. It was
He's got one really close to his house.
Yeah, they were like Micro Center on steroids. Yeah. They had more stuff than just computer stuff. They had a ton of crap. It was even bigger than Best Buy. But, unfortunately, we won't be doing that anymore.
I can see why they're closing. So again, the only one I've been to is the one. BV, what city is that? Is it in your city? The one that was right
No,
by
it's
you?
Downers Grove.
Okay, yeah, right there by BV's house. The problem is with these brick and mortar stores, you got to sell a lot of cables that Fry's by BV is enormous.
Yeah,
So
it's a
like
big
you could
place.
imagine the cost of overhead to have that physical brick and mortar store just to stock all those little LED bulbs that they were selling. You'd have to sell 1 billion of them.
Yeah.
And in a world where Amazon exists, I don't know. Like I get why they're closing, but I don't know.
Yeah, mine's already closed.
Oh yeah. Did you go over there before they were closing, see if you could check out anything?
No, I didn't know it was closing.
Oh,
I just
it's one of
happened to look it up here to see when it was closing because I was thinking of doing that. And, permanently closed. So
BB couldn't even get the window. Man.
Couldn't even get the shelving.
no love.
Who does that, by the way? When the stores go out of business, they're like, shelving's still here for that. I mean, who runs in there like, oh man, I need to get this Micro Center shelving. It's like, why do I want that? I guess if I had a party store, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, what is your guys' take on the world with like brick and mortar stores and stuff? Do you guys think in 10 years, I think all electronics are going to be gone. I don't think there's going to be a single specific. I think the only place you're going to get electronics is inside a Walmart or a Target or something like that.
I think you'll have small little mom and pop shops still, like
you?
like Southgate Computers, where they're offering a service to get your computer fixed, but they also have a wall of little computer
Rando
parts.
things? Yeah.
They do have that there, and then even the place on Van Born, that First Class Computers. I don't know if you've ever been in there. They fix computers. And they also have little random parts. If you need it, you can go buy them there. I don't think you're going to see full-fledged. Unfortunately, I feel like Best Buy is going to die.
Best Buy's got to. I mean, you go in there, it's a ghost town.
Yeah, so that's very sad. But, yeah.
What is BV's thought on that?
I generally agree. I think the saving grace for Best Buy right now is that it provides people the opportunity to actually take a look at something, kind of check it out first, and then go look for a lower price somewhere else online.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
So
the crazy part too is with Amazon, with that weird thing that they worked out with Kohl's, where you can now take your Amazon back. Like, so to BV's point, I might have been leery buying something, but I'll just return it to Kohl's and like have them ship that shit back to Amazon. So if it sucks, I don't know.
I will say, because of Amazon, the last two things I've ordered from Best Buy and Walmart, I've literally got them the next day.
Yeah, it's insane.
They've been trying to
insane.
compete. They're
Yeah.
trying. Yeah. But I don't know how long it's going to last, but they're
I gotta
trying.
tell you, so and I keep talking about this Walmart trip. So
You were really mesmerized by this Walmart trip.
No, well, it's funny because it just happens to ring home on a lot of the randomness. I did a site to store of a cabin air filter for my car, and it should have been in that big machine. Steve, it took me 30 minutes to pick up something for site to store because it wasn't in the machine. The person came along, just didn't give a shit. I'm
Was
like,
he stocking donuts?
no, he wasn't the donut guy. Some of them, but like, you know how the people just don't care, and it's like.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I'll just buy my shit from Amazon going forward. Like, you're forcing me to do. It's like when we tried to buy, what was it, one of the Street Fighter games, we tried to buy at that mom and pop shop.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, do you have it? Well, no. So, what do you want me to do here? I know it exists. Like, I'm trying to help. A perfect example of that is we're dinosaurs on the base of I like a physical CD. I know that's blasphemy in 2021, but like, I like to support an artist and buy their CD. I go over to the music shop, Dearborn Music. They don't got shit. I'm like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
I'm trying to be a good consumer, but like, I don't know.
Well, Best Buy is guilty of that over the weekend or Sunday or Monday. I wanted to get an external hard drive to put my PS4 games on so I can.
They have shit. You're like,
The one game, they had one on sale for $50. Of course, didn't have it. I had to go home, order it from them online. It's like, why did I go
what
to
am
the
I gonna
store?
do? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't know. It's such an annoying process, and I get what BV's saying. Like, because sometimes, especially because BV was recently buying. What did you buy, BV? A laptop just recently, or a touchscreen?
In the last year, I bought a laptop and a new all-in-one. So
you kind of want to kick the tires before you plunk that
Yeah.
down, see what something's about, see if it's, because the specs on a website don't necessarily tell you like the size and kind of feel of something. I can give you the dimensions of Steve's PS5 controller, but until you put it in your hand, you kind of, I get it.
I mean, you might think the PS5 is big until you see it. Then it's humongous.
Yeah.
well, a TV is a perfect example. Who wants to
yeah.
put down, loot to buy a big screen TV if you can't get a look to see what the picture's like? And Amazon is even further putting the nail in the coffin on brick and mortar. I don't know if you guys have seen or have those in the area, but we're now starting to get physical stores that come in. So like we've got in the city, we've got an Amazon bookstore. I haven't been to any of these yet, but there's an Amazon 4-star.
Yeah, there's one in
that's
12 Oaks too. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's one that's in Oak Brook, the outdoor mall that's kind of up not too far by me. We've got an Amazon Fresh store that's not too far away from us now. There's of course the Amazon Go store, stores in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean they're basically taking everything over. It's almost starting to wonder if we're working down to the ultimate battle between Amazon and Google for dominance of the world.
Yeah, but I think Walmart would, and if Walmart would beg to differ, I'm just saying, because Walmart, again, I keep going back to this trip I had. Apparently, it was very life-changing. But I'm saying, that place was jamming when we were in there.
Which one did you go to?
The one on Telegraph right there. Yeah, it's insane.
That one, the Ford Road one.
Yeah, and I think that if you go into a Target store, too, you kind of see, there are going to be some stores, but it's going to be, to BV's point, very few and far between, man. Yeah. And Fry's going out of business, I get it, because I'm going to guess that building by BV's got to be, 70,000 square feet? I mean, that building was enormous, that Fry's by BV.
But hands down, the busiest fucking computer store is that Micro Center. I've never been in there when it's empty. Have you?
You go there way more than I do.
That place
you are
is a
obsessed with that
nut house.
place, and you really need to talk to someone.
Yeah,
about
I
that.
probably do.
You really
But I'll tell you
have-
what, it's a very big. If they ever went on business, I'd be shocked of how much. You go, there's like you said,
But they just
there's
can't-
Best Buys where you hear your echo of your voice.
Yeah, but you can't compete, Steve. That's at the end of the day, they've got it's pure numbers. So you've got the overhead of all the douches walking around in Micro Center. You've got the physical building. You've also got to stock that building with a bunch of stuff that probably will sell, but then doesn't sell. So I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that Micro Center is struggling, but at the end of the day, Amazon has none of that overhead.
Yeah,
and they've got a million. Tomorrow, if you needed that hard drive, if you didn't want instant gratification,
Amazon.
you go to Amazon.
But all seriousness, you couldn't find one of these in a store anywhere. Even Walmart
What do you
doesn't
do?
have these.
Yeah.
So it's what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
All right.
What are we gonna? Sorry, just
Go
real
ahead.
quick. So, what do you think we're gonna do with all that land? What's gonna happen to all that massive, retail space? That's just not
Distribution
usable?
centers. I mean, that's what's going to
Yeah, I
happen.
mean, and Amazon just gonna buy them all out and turn them into giant warehouses.
yeah,
I mean,
basically.
I mean, they've already
There's gonna be
got.
turkey bins to make Charles sausage.
They've already purchased and put in massive warehouses in the town that I live in. You kind of go off to the little industrial area, and they've bought out a huge chunk of it, and they're just. I mean, we're getting there are so many things now that we order through Prime and get same day.
It's
It's not-
unbelievable, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't justify going into a brick and mortar store most of the time unless I have to have it right this minute, and I know that it's there. There's no point.
The only time.
What was the last time? Hold on, let me do really for a second. What was the last thing you got way too fast from Amazon, BB?
Condoms.
What? No, I'm trying to remember. I think I ordered guitar strings,
And they came
and
insane.
it was supposed to be because it was on a Friday, and it was supposed to get here. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, and it got here Monday morning.
I had a thought just now too. So BB's he's saying got the Costco will never go away either. That's one other place that will always remain. I just not thought of that.
Or any of those warehouse stores.
It's neat. Yeah, you're gonna certain niche businesses are gonna stay in. I mean, there's the
Hardware stores, probably.
Yeah.
The Home Depots, the Lowe's.
will Amazon at some point decide to take that on too?
They're just taking it over, man. And then Cyberdyne comes along.
I mean, how long is it till? How long is it, for example, now they're building these Amazon Fresh stores? How long is it going to be before they start doing things like putting a gas component with it? And then now you can get your gas or get way out in front of EV charging, and just, I mean, if I'm Amazon, I'm taking some of this retail space and I'm just attacking EV charging, so that when the rest of the world, particularly when the U.S. catches up, like they just corner the market on it.
And no argument for me. It's a weird time, and like I said, when you start to just kind of wrap your brain around when you see like a Fry's close, or like you said, like Micro Center, like I feel like when we've gone into that Fry's, it was jamming when we went in there. So
last time I went, when you weren't there, it was me and Michelle. And
little off time.
Yeah, it wasn't too many people there. Okay. So, but I don't know what time we were there. But all right, now Bill, this next news, I definitely want your opinion here. The Big Show, also known in real life, Paul White, signs a contract with AEW to be a part-time wrestler, announcer, and trainer, leaving WWE after 22 years. He's left. He's gone to AEW. Bill, what do you think of this, and how much money do you think they paid him?
Okay.
Because that hasn't been revealed.
I'll start with the money. I don't think that he got a ridiculous contract.
Especially after that show.
I would think that and I don't know whether AEW is doing these like downside deals the way that WWE does or not. My guess is they're probably giving a little bit more guaranteed. I'm gonna guess somewhere in the range of maybe $300,000 to $500,000 a year. Because I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask: does AEW offer less travel?
Well, right now, no one's traveling. Who knows?
But even on a regular basis, would AEW kind of offer? Because that was always the draw to TNA, was less travel, right?
Well, AEW before COVID was trying to travel, though.
Oh, they were.
Yeah,
okay.
They were.
Well, we never got to see for any length of time what they were going to do as far as, were they going to do house shows, 6 nights a week? Who knows? But the thing with Big Show, and my take is that he really hasn't been a full-time wrestler now in a number of years, right? So as a talent, he's at that point in his career where it's more about what he can do to try to elevate the locker room and, use his name and his character and his, cachet to kind of get people over and bring up new guys. So he's got value, but he's more name than actual substance at this point.
He's 49 years old too.
Yeah.
49.
The surprising part to me is that he has been one of those handful of guys for the WWE the last 15 years. It's been one of their main brand ambassadors. He's the one that's out in front sort of pimping the brand. And you got the impression that he was going to be one of those kind of lifers, like a Taker or a Cena that just, he finishes out his career in WWE and, kind of works his way through in kind of backstage role and sort of just lives the rest of his life in the business. But from what I've heard, and I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to it, but from what I understand, I guess they really pissed him off with a contract offer.
Well, how many of those guys can, at the end of the day, how many of those guys can WWE keep taking on? I think that's what it boils down to. So then it's like, okay, so for one Big Show, I've got Undertaker, who just walked away. I've got Mick Foley, who I think is still kicking around randomly, isn't he? I feel like he does. Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think. Yeah,
but I'm just saying,
certainly
like,
not with WWE.
These like brand ambassadors, as you guys call them. So like,
Mark
how
Henry's
much?
the big one.
Okay, so how much is that worth, and how many of these guys can you keep like these weird legacy contracts for?
Well, I don't know. See, because I think this is. I get your point, and I don't disagree, but they're also one of the big issues that it keeps getting brought up with all the just dirt sheets and wrestling news organizations is that WWE made record profits last year with COVID because they weren't spending all the money on travel and whatnot, and they're cutting pay. They're not renewing as many contracts. They furloughed or just flat out released like 40% of their employee staff earlier last year, and they're not giving any raises or bonuses. So they're in full like hoard the profit mode here, and I think that Big Show is probably, and this is a little different than a lot of the others, because at some point those guys are stopped. They stop using them in any sort of a meaningful, way in the ring, And I think when they go into the Legends contract kind of thing, so to speak, I would imagine that the amount of money they make annually drops significantly at that point. Whereas White, I mean, the Big Show still had not even just at the end of last year's WrestleMania had a pretty quick, it was short but a prominent role in the main event, back and forth as he got in and took on Orton in a little quick program and was part of that thing between him and McIntyre. I think he probably still sees himself as more of a wrestler than WWE sees him as. And so my guess is that other than the general cheapness, that he might still be thinking he brings more overall value than maybe he actually does, to try to be fair to WWE. But I'm just guessing because I just have no idea. But
yeah, I think the one for sure is you're going to see Shaq and him wrestle.
Yeah.
Because Shaq's been kind of doing a lot of stuff with AEW, but they were going to do it with Cody Rhodes, and then now they're bringing him in. They'll be the same height. So he's probably going to do like a lot of stunt.
He's lost a ton of weight, right?
Yeah.
He's leaned up, right?
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of stunt matches with him if he wrestles at all once a year. I'm going to wrestle Shaq. I'm going to wrestle Charles Barkley, whatever. So we'll see. I just can't. It's going to be weird here. Jim Ross goes, what is Paul White doing on Dynamite? Because he can't say Big Show because it's a copyright by WWE. Wonder what they're going to call him. They'll probably just say Paul White.
What do they call him? Biggie Show.
That would be funny.
They could go back and start calling him the Giant again.
They can't. WWE.
Oh no, he owns that through WCW too, don't they?
Who
I don't
is
know.
the gargantuan man over there?
I think he's a valuable pickup for AEW though, because he can help them transition into a more polished, professional product. I think he can probably add a lot to that because they need to, at some point they need to get a little bit further away from this, overwhelming indie love kind of approach.
Yeah,
they're going to have to appeal the masses.
Shaq, who could you honestly have him wrestle? They're a fucking bunch of midgets.
So small.
Yeah, I mean, Darby Allin versus Big Show.
So small.
Yeah.
So there we go. There's Big Show. He is now in AEW. Charles, the MCU is run by Disney now and doesn't like a lot of rated R movies. But it has been announced that Deadpool 3 will be the final Deadpool movie, and it will be R-rated, but that'll be the only R-rated movie in the MCU universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to let it stay R. I'm very shocked by this. I thought for sure they'd switch it to PG-13. But it's going to stay R, and do you care?
No.
So there's that.
And I love all the Steves of the world with their pants around their ankles. Like, Deadpool's so good. Just cranking badges
this
out
keyboard
to
is
it.
very sticky when I watch
Yeah, dude, I
Deadpool.
love it. Every Steve in the world unites. Deadpool is so great.
I wrote really funny. Next up, we talked a little bit about earlier, Paramount. They also have some other new shows besides the MTV crap.
Yeah.
They are going with a Frasier reboot. Anyone
Big to
here?
somebody, I think. I don't know.
There are a lot of other shows. I didn't.
Didn't they
write them all
reboot like
down.
Murphy Brown at this point? Like
They did that. It can't. Someone did it.
What show hasn't gotten a reboot?
Seinfeld and Friends.
Okay. Well, Friends is getting that weird movie, right?
They're getting a reunion show or something. I don't know. That's the only ones I could think. King of Queens.
He's too busy doing NASCAR shows.
Yeah. So and also the Halo show that they've been seem to be working on for 25 years now.
Say at some point you missed the boat on this one, right?
Yeah, is going to, instead of being on Showtime, it's going to be moving over to the Paramount Plus network, which, if it's any good and I catch wind of it, then I might have to drop the $10 to watch the season of Halo. But there you go.
Like you said, though, it's been in the can and been in development for 14 years
the
at
guys
this
from
point.
Orange is the New Black supposed to play him. And
Yeah, I mean, at some
I don't know
point,
what's happened
yeah,
since
porn
then.
stash, yeah.
I saw some stills of the suit. It looked pretty good. And
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. And next up, this is the last thing. This is a military item here. I thought this was kind of neat.
Military. Steve going with the military info.
So it's a beam weapon. It looks like something straight from G.I. Joe. It looks like a big radar dish. And basically what it does is it shoots beams at drones and knocks them out of the
Scrambles
sky.
their,
Yeah.
like RF or something.
Yeah, so it's very futuristic military weapons. Fucking G.I. Joe and Cobra are out there fighting. And the name of the weapon is called Thor. It's short for something. I forget what it is. But yeah, so there you go. Our military has beam weapons now. So we got Space Force and Thor the Beam Weapon.
I wonder if that can be implemented on like a ballistics missile as well to like mess up the guidance of those or something like that. It's
pretty neat shit sometimes.
It's pretty cool, but like, geez, like you said.
I wonder if the military is developing this just in case Amazon decides to use that drone delivery setup to take over.
Yeah.
Make sure that they avoid any coup
I
d'etat
feel
by
like
Amazon.
BV's got like one eye on Amazon. BV doesn't trust Amazon.
I don't blame him.
Oh no, I think it's it's
He
not that I
should
don't
trust
trust
him.
him.
His
I
house
think
is
it's
from
funny.
Amazon.
Yeah, he's got
I think the whole
boxes
thing's
in
funny because they've become such an integral part of our everyday lives, just seeming like instantly.
See, there it is.
Like it just happened out of nowhere.
It's in like a shipping container.
So, yep. Anything else we want to add this week?
No, other than
Watch out for Amazon.
yeah, keep one eye on Bezos.
Well, he retired, right? He quit, and he's making spaceships now or some shit.
I don't know what any of those guys are up to. I don't know what's going on.
All right, so that's going to do us for this week. Of course, you can catch us on fatguyslittlepodcast.com. Should be up by tomorrow. And, of course, you can catch us on our Facebook page as well as YouTube. And then you can catch us on Spotify.
And then
Apple,
tell everyone
iTunes,
about the big get you got for
Google
next
Play.
week.
Yes, we'll it's not confirmed yet, but if
Oh,
Holly and Nathan are available and not working,
the
they will
lovely
be joining
couple
us.
is
Moochie's
gonna.
in the house.
Smoochie Skaska will be joining
Oh
us,
my god!
along
man.
with my ace student.
Yeah, wow.
so there we
Love is
go.
in the air.
And I'll have a full review next week of how Central Michigan goes. I'm going to Central Michigan this Saturday, take the tour with the daughter.
Okay.
Yes, that's another.
Wonder what that's like in a time of COVID. I wonder if there's like weirdness
well,
there.
It's funny because we want to do Grand Valley State too, but they don't in person.
Okay.
So maybe over the summer. When
Any
if we lived
university
in Texas,
she's looking for in
I could
Texas.
have went. I could have
She
done
can
it.
go to UTEP like nobody's business. I bet.
Bastards, Michigan. But
Go check out UT. A&M.
but so
Baylor.
there you go.
No, don't check out Baylor.
Leave her out of Baylor.
Yeah, don't go to Baylor. Until next week, this is Steve.
And Charles.
We'll catch you next time.